Hope you're all well and you're having a fantastic week so far. Uh, I'm going to be bringing you a little bit of a live stream of the footage from our club sprint race series championship that happened last night. As you can see on screen, we had five different cars racing around Sonoma Sonoma Raceway short circuit. So we're going to look at the individual championships that occurred in our sprint race championship. What we're looking for here is the drivers are taking part. They're competing in the overall championship. So who is the most adaptable driver around the different circuits we have on our calendar, and then we have the individual cups as well. So who is the best GT5 driver? Who is the best in the Formula Rookie? Who can hassle that M1 Pro car around those vintage Lotus 25 Formula 1Ds and the ever so powerful Ferrari Series 488s. That is pretty much it for our start. So have a look, and we'll go in and have a look what happened in the GT5s whilst we're loading up. See what I can find out from what occurred so far in the season so far. So we're going to have a look at our standings and just run through them very briefly for you. What happened at the end of round 3, the footage of which for round 3 should be on one of the videos on our YouTube channel. If you have a search around, it'll be on there somewhere. It is Ambient Stub who is currently leading the GT5 championship. He's on 50 points overall. He is 5 points clear of Inter Allsort in second. Nathbit is in third on 35 points. His teammate Wayne is in fourth on 30. Kingy, who's without a team, he sits in fifth on 28th. Ice Dude is in sixth on 27. Jeff Spencer, seventh with 26 points. Lord of Lincoln behind with 25. And then the Flying Scotsman is in ninth with 23. Carabaskin rounds up the top 10 on 14 points. It is a random grid here. This is a random grid we have in our sprint race series. So we'll have a practice race and then we're straight into random grids. That way we have a nice messed up grid with potentially some slower drivers at the front. Not always the case, but can happen. And then we have the faster drivers, see if they can battle the way through the field. The grid for this one, Ice Dude's out on pole. Nathbit finds himself in P2. Sam, he's there in the no regret livery in P3. Jeff Spencer, he's one to look out for in this racetrack around here. He's in P4. King Hughes had a fantastic join to the series after not really being part of round 1, but he's been part of round 2 and 3. He's in P5. There's the Flying Scotsman. He's in P6. The Flying Scotsman, formerly 8-ball in this. He's at a nice PSN name change, but he now is the Flying Scotsman. Let's see if he can fly around the track here. P7, Ambient Stub, Championship leader, and Inter All Sorts, interestingly, is alongside in P8. Lord of Lincoln sits in P9 behind his teammate. There's Carabaskin in P10, and Wayne rolls up the grid in P11. So let's have a look at how this all started up. Watching Nathan off the line to see whether everything is with the cameras pan back. Ice Dude's off to a fantastic start, and that's Sam Thumbfinger there looking on the inside. No way through on this one though, as we're coming up to the very tricky off camber and corners and constant elevation change. See the constant change of elevation here as Nathan runs a little bit onto the gravel. He's taken the escape route there. Let's see what Sam sees as Nathan rejoins. That's Kingy in fact, so Sam's lost a few positions there. Kingy is up into P2. A little bit of contact there, Nathan is rejoining. He still holds P2, does Kingy. Ambient Stuff got a fantastic start, he's up into P3. Sam is dropped into P4. He's chased closely by Jeff Spencer. Nathan dropping down to 6th place there in all of that. Lord of Lincoln is in 7th. Carabasket 8th. Wayne, good start for him. He's in tonight. Inter's must have had a moment there. He's dropped down into 10th. And the Flying Scotsman as well. He's got no front of his car there. He's down in P11. keep a look. Ice Dude comes up to finish his first lap of the race. He's got a second over Ambient Stub. Good start for Ambient Stub. This is what he wanted for sure. He wanted to get off the line as quick as he can, get through the grid, and try and maximise his points for this weekend to extend his lead at the top. Being hunted down by Sam from Finger behind, who's actually under a lot of pressure from Kingy. And further back we've got Nathitz all over the back of Jeff Spencer, and Lord of Lincoln's there for company as well. Nathit puts his nose up the inside. No, he's not making it through. Jeff's run a little bit wide there. Jeff is in the black and red car with the red stripes. The other black and red car is Lord of Lincoln, who has a look on the outside, not able to get through though. Anyway through for the S's here. Very tricky to lose the back end of the car and get the car around sideways. And the gravel here, if you've not raced here on Project Cars 2 and PS4, the gravel is very, very dangerous. Put a wheel on there and you will have the car spin around. Have a look out front. Sam's closed up right onto the back of Ice Dude. Ambient Stubbs through. Ambient Stubbs through for the lead of this race. And it's a 3-car battle now for P2. Ice Dude in the green and black Makuda livery. There's Sam in the white No Regrets, followed closely by the blue livery of Kingy. Quite a subdued start, very interesting start, but it's very subdued. We have clearly two groups of cars at the moment. These are the front 3 runners and front 4 drivers which you're watching as Sam runs wide and Ice Dude has gone from the picture. What has happened to Ice Dude there? He's put a wheel on the gravel as we mentioned earlier. He's going to be under pressure from Nathit now as he comes down the straight towards the airpin. And he has a look on the inside and he gets the move done. Will Ice Dude fight back? Runs another wheel on the gravel there. Needs to be careful, Ice Dude, that doesn't spin him around again. He's just dropped from 2nd into 5th. The battle out front, Kingy is on the back of Sam Thumbfinger. If you are joining us here, feel free to drop a like on our stream. We're here to listen to your comments and trying something new out. Hopefully we'll be able to read your comments out live on stream. So if you're there, we can hopefully try and hear you. A little bit of gravel kicked up there. Sam is struggling to shape the back of Kingy. Ambient Stub doesn't mind this battle though. He's soaring out in front to a 2.5 second lead on this last lap. Currently lapping the fastest man on track. The second fastest man on track actually is Inter, who's currently sat down in 7th, recovering from an earlier mistake or an incident that happened. Not sure what happened there. We didn't get it on camera, but. And back to the front, Ice Dude and Nathit and Lord of Lincoln. This is a battle of Ice Dude runs wide, keeps hold of control. We saw Nathit do this on lap 1. He went across the grass and rejoined the other part of the circuit, slowing down for the cars ahead. Ice Dude is now under pressure from Lord of Lincoln though, and this is going to help Inter, who's currently sat in 6th. 7th, sorry, Inter's in 7th, closing up to his battle in 6th. At the back we've got Jeff Spencer running a little bit deep again into that corner. He's under pressure from Wayne. We saw this livery battle happen earlier on in the race. Nathit was able to find his way through somehow, and Jeff's dropped down in the order. Actually, I think Jeff was set up in higher up the grid, but he's dropped down to 9th when he's at the moment picked up some damage there. These last 3 drivers, the Flying Scotsman, we know who's an instant, and there's another moment there, he's caught a little bit of the gravel, he's got off track. Not so flying the Scotsman in the GT5 today. Wayne taking a number of interesting lights, trying to fast his way past Jeff Spencer, but Jeff Spencer is defending very stoutly as we come down into the very tricky final corner, or corners. Very easy to lose and hit those tyres there. Front, the Ambient Stubbs on lap 5, and he's gone racing away. 4 seconds lead over Samsung Finger and Kingy behind in 3rd and 4th. Nathbit's drops quite a wave behind this battle now, but he's also gained a bit of gap on Ice Dude, who sits in 5th. Inter All Sorts is past Lord of Lincoln though. He's past Lord of Lincoln, and he's hunting down Ice Dude. Can Inter maximise the points out of this? He is 2nd in our GT5 Championship at the moment. He's going to want all the points he can get, especially with his rival Ambient Stub out front, and currently looking the fastest man on track as well, so potentially going to be picking up points for the fastest lap as well. As into here, we're taking a look. Has a look down the inside, pokes his nose through. Very compliant Ice Dude there, gives him room. Has Inter got the run off the corner? He has. Ice Dude is there. He's now going to be fighting off Lord of Lincoln behind. Has Lord of Lincoln got what it takes to put Ice Dude under pressure? Just watching on the bumper here of Lord of Lincoln, the elevation change we come up to this turn here. Contrasting lines here. Lord Lincoln runs it wide to cut back. Ice Dude definitely has a better run out of that corner. We see again the elevation change, the constant camber change. So we're looking at lap 6. Ambient Stub out front has set a 1:22.0 fastest lap. Very, very quick around this track is our Ambient Stub, a points leader in the GT5, the number 49 car there. He's round the final part of the S's, coming into the braking zones at the final corner. On to lap 7 he will go. He's got a 4-second advantage over Sam Thumping. Let's just check this lap time as he comes across the line. It's a 1:22.8, last lap of 1:22.0, 1:22.0 again for Ambient Stub. Very consistent driver. Sam is in the 22s as well. That's why he's been able to get that little bit of a breather from Kingy behind. Kingy's having a really good race though. He'll be happy if he can pick up that P3. He's going to collect an awful lot of their points. Nathbit's having a bit of a quiet race, but Inter behind is starting to close up on his in his fight back through the field. The driver's starting to spread out a bit more. Lord of Lincoln has dropped behind a bit further. There's Carol Baskin in the AQI livery. He's under pressure from Ice Dude. Ice Dude was behind Lincoln, Lord of Lincoln at some point, but he's dropped behind Carol Baskin now. Just not comfortable around this track in these cars, it seems. Jeff Spencer, who had a good start, he's shaken off the pressure from Wayne, who's dropped to the back of the field, and the Flying Scotsman, he's recovering, but you can see the state of the car there. He's had some repairs, but the back bumper is flailing in the wind, so that's going to affect his aero around this track, and this is very much an aero driven track. You're going to keep the maximum high speed as much as you can. It's currently the closest battle on track. Carol Baskin defending from Ice Dude. The American driver versus the Belgium driver, racing around the American track. Does that give Carol Baskin the slight advantage in the British Ginetta GT5s? Actually closing up to within half a second, but able to get that gap down any further. Our race leader starting to slow the pace a little bit, only half a second or so on that last lap, but he's on lap 8, he's on the penultimate lap. He leads Sam Thumping, as you see Wayne get well off the racing line there. Good race crash there by Wayne. He's clearly had an incident, and he's now just falling a lap down. That means the Flying Scotsman's the next car on track for Ambient Stub to be wary of. Slightly behind, Kingy is closing up a little bit. He's found a nice bit of rhythm as the tyres must be settled in. That was the white car of Sam Thumpinger there you just saw in the start of the shot. As Wayne again gets well off the racing line, lets the race leaders through. Has Kingy got enough time though to hunt Sam Thumpinger down? gap's currently sitting at just under 2 seconds as Kingy rises up the hill. Very wide track here at Sonoma, very easy to lose your racing line. There's a number of lines to be said, so being used to gain an advantage. That gap is closing ever so slightly, but Kingy has run it wide there. That will cost him some time in rejoining. So race leader Ambient Stub, he is on his final lap, coming around the S's for the final time. Relatively faultless race by the Ambient Stub. Very comfortable in these GT5s, especially here around Sonoma. See him breaking down to the final corner. He is race 1's winner here at round 4 for the Fresh Sim Racing Club Race Championship, Sprint Race Championship. Ambient Stub there, taking a moment to flash his lights. He's happy with that one. He takes another win here and extends his lead. There's the battle between Sam Thumper and Kingy. It's very close between them. In fact, less than half a second when they cross the line there. Sam takes second, Kingy takes third, Nathbit coming across the line, he takes fourth, but only just. There's Inter All Sorts, he takes P5. He's going to be losing points to Ambient Stub in this race, but hopefully he'll be able to make it back up in the next round next week at the Texas Motor Speedway infield circuit. Lord of Lincoln picks up P6 in the end. Ice Dude's battled back, he's picking up P7. Carol Baskin will end up taking P8 as he takes a little bit of a moment with the tyre barriers there on the last lap. Damage is on here, so don't know if we're losing it at that point in the race. Jeff Spencer, he's going to take up P9. The Flying Scotsman takes up P10 in his maiden drive out in his new name. And Wayne will round up the grid in P11. So what did that do to the standings? We'll have a quick look as we ping across to the race winner. Here he is in that 49 black and red livery. He is the race winner, Ambient Stub. He's going to extend his lead over the rest of the field. So the GT5 Championship as it stands, in fact he extends to another 5 points. He leads the championship by 10 points. He's got 67 Ambient Stub over. The closest rival now is Inter All Sorts with 57. Nathbit is in third with 48 points, but Kingy is very close behind on 42. Ice Dude, relatively good race for him. He's got 37 points. Wayne 36. Lord of Lincoln joins him on 36. Jeff Spencer on 34. Flying Scotsman on 30 and Sam Thumbfinger on 25. That is that sums up your first race in the GT5s, and we'll jump back and have a look at what happened in race 2, which involved the Formula Rookies. Don't forget, if you were joining us on live stream, don't forget to drop a like. We are here to show you the rest of the races, all 5 races here on this stream. I'm going to bring them all together. Let's load up what happened in the Formula Rookie. If you're there in chat, don't forget to drop a message, say hi. We'll try and chat to you a little bit on stream if we can. Hopefully have some of the drivers who are involved in the races will be able to speak to us a little bit as well. So we'll see if we can bring that to everybody. One key feature of the Club Sprint Race Championship is that we like to try and simulate a full race weekend at a racetrack, a club racing event. So this is why we're running the 5 different cars. And across, you'll notice the time change now. These Formula Rookies still using medium cloud, but the time has moved on to 10 o'clock. And in fact, we have a few more drivers joining us for this race. Before we get through to the grid though, let's have a look at the standings. Inter All Sorts is the Formula Rookie points leader at the moment. He has a 7-point advantage over his teammate Sam Thumbfinger in P2. Nathbit again finds himself in P3 on joint points though with Jeff Spencer, so it's a joint third position there. Both Jeff and Nathan will be looking to battle it out to get as many points as they can. Ice Dude, he's behind on 32, Kingy on 31. Ambient Stub, the leader of the GT5s, is only in P6 here in the Formula Rookies on 27 points. Half the points or so to the race leader here, so he'll be looking to get some good points. Wayne is behind him on 25, and Lord of Lincoln 24. As the grid would have it, two of the closest battles of the Formula Rookie Championship find themselves P1 and P2. There's Jeff Spencer in the Tiger Energy black and a blue liveried Formula Rookie. He takes the pole, random grid pole. He's alongside an 8th bit in the white and yellow livery. Karabaskin, he's new to this. No, he did race with us last week. He's got 7 points in championship, so he'll be looking to try and get as many points as he can. Kingy, he's there in P4 alongside Charlie Guff, who's raced with us before in some of the other races, but not in the Formula Rookie. This is his first time out joining us for the Formula Rookies. Wayne is in P6, the Flying Scotsman is in P7, and Sam Thumbfinger, P2 in championship. He sits alongside Inter All Sorts 8th and 9th. These two are the points leaders in the championship so far. New driver Jinx, unable to make the GT5 race due to technical problem, but he is here with us in the Formula Rookies. He's in that black and green Bolton livery there. Ollie as well, another driver who you would have seen in previous streams. He's joined us for previous races, but he's not been in the Formula Rookies, so let's see how he fares there. Ambient Stub, he's not where he wants to start. If he wants to get more points to try and claim his name on this title, he starts in 12th alongside teammate Lord of Lincoln in P13, and Ice Dude rounds up the grid there in P14. So here we go for 9 laps of Sonoma Raceway in the Formula Rookies. Let's see what happens. 8th bit there with a really good start comparative to Jeff Spencer, but Carol Baskin has the best start of the lot. You see the fantastic views here with the cars coming up into turn 1. Very short straight here at Sonoma Raceway. This is the race layout used by the NASCARs, and we see Carol Baskin fighting wheel to wheel with Nathan, and Charlie Goff is right behind. In fact, there's a number of drivers behind who want to take advantage of there. Bit of contact, I think, there between the Flying Scotsman and he's round. Do you think the Flying Scotsman is round? He is. There's his teammate alongside Ice Dude, and that's Jinxie coming up for the inside. Another car is round there in the background. That looks like Charlie Duff. There's a couple of cars at the back of the grid as well. Have had a few moment there. Is that the two teammates? Oh, I think, yeah, the fact there's a car upside down the back there. Once it happened to the car at the back, that's going to have serious damage. Out front, Nathbit is still under pressure from Karabaskin. In fact, there's Kingy, Inter All Sorts, Ambient, Stubbs, Sam, Thumbfinger, Lord of Lincoln, Inter All Sorts, all there driving. In fact, Nathbit's here. He's dropping down the order very, very quickly. That's Karabaskin up to P2, Ambient up to P3. Fantastic start for him. Kingy's in P4. As that Sam Thumbfinger's going to have a look now on the inside. Got his teammate for company. Can he get through? Nathbit gets very sideways there, but he is through. Into All Sorts behind. Can he make a move around the outside coming into turn 1? Absolute mayhem happening here. The drivers are keeping it all very clean though, these front 7 drivers or so. This P1 down into P2, P7, separated by 7 seconds. Into All Sorts runs wide, but is able to get the place. Cuts in front of Nathbit there, and he's back up into P6. We're watching on board here. This is what we're seeing. Is a little wheel on the gravel. Well done to Inter All Sorts, keeping his car planted there and keeping his foot on the throttle. Look at their battles. 2 cars collide further up ahead. That is Carol Baskin and Kingy. They're coming together there. That puts those 2 guys pretty much out of contention for this race. Jeff Spencer is still leading though onto lap 2. Ambient Stub trying to force a way through with the two Black Hand Project racing drivers behind, 2 black and yellow livery cars behind. It's looking around the outside. Very tricky move here. Has the inside for the right hander though, and he's through as Jeff has a moment, and that causes Inter behind to put his brakes on quickly, and he's just lost control of the car. Inter All Sorts has dropped behind Nathbit, and will we see, has he got any damage? Yeah, Inter is into the pits, obviously to pick up some damage repair there. Lord of Lincoln takes the place. So starting on lap 3, Ambient Stub finds himself in the lead of the race somehow after starting quite way down the grid. It's Jeff Spencer who has Sam Thumbfinger there. He's running it a little bit wide, and that's allowed Nathan through. So Sam was in P2 or fighting for P2. He's now in P4. There he is, rejoined the track safely though. Nathan all over the back of Jeff Spencer. Is there going to be a way through? We know Jeff is very astute defender. He's very good at keeping his car on that racing line, but he has run cars a little bit wide there. Something we saw in the GT5 Championship. That's allowed Nathan to get right onto the back of him there, but not able to keep the momentum going. That's your race leader in the red livery there leading. Carol Baskin has retired from this race. He's back in the pits, so wouldn't have any damage. That's caused the timing screen to have a bit of a meltdown there. But Carol Baskin, after that incident with Kingy, he is out of this race. As we're watching Ambient Stub come into the final corner to go onto lap 3. Nathan there running very wide, trying to overtake Jeff Spencer, but no way through. In fact, Jeff is still holding that P2. Sam recovering from an off there, he's in P4. Lord of Lincoln is in P5. Charlie Goff, a really good race for him in his maiden voyage out in his Formula Rookies. He's in P6. The Flying Scotsman had a bit of an off, a bit more of an off actually in lap 1. He's in P7. That's Jinxie in P9, Kingy P10, Wayne P11, Ice Dude, the worst victim of the incident on lap 1, he's in P12. Ollie is in the pits. I wonder if he's in for repairs as well as Inter in for repairs too. So there's 3 guys in the pits, although Carol Baskin's damage does look terminal. Out on track, Sam is back ahead of Nathbit and is hunting down Jeff Spencer. Lord of Lincoln is also very close to this battle now. In fact, he's closing on the back of Nathan. One of Nathan's had a bit of a mistake there, and that's what's dropped him back down the grid and gave Sam the opportunity. Let's see if Sam can make any headway into the S's though. Jeff again puts his car exactly where he needs to be on that racing line to defend, forcing Sam to go the long way round. It's not easy in these cars, very little aero in these cars. And very little power, in fact. They're very small engines in these Formula Rookies. But yeah, a fantastic slipstream racing. Sam will be gaining a massive slipstream advantage as he has a look around the outside into turn 1. Cuts it short, looking for the undercut coming into turn 2. Jeff runs it a little bit wide. Sam's got his nose ahead. Can he get ahead on this corner? Running around the outside, very tricky here, very easy to just run it deep. Both drivers get stopped in time, both drivers keeping it clean, but Sam runs a wheel over the gravel. That slowed him down just a little bit. As we see the 2 drivers coming down into the airpin. Jeff has a look to have a move on the inside, taking the shorter line. Sam runs deep. Oh, the 2 cars almost made contact there. It does look like coming through the S's, Sam has got that place locked down now, and should see Sam Thumbfinger try and close the gap that Ambient Stubbs pulled out whilst all this battle's happening. He's 8 seconds or so down the road. In fact, he's coming into the final corner now and across the line, as Sam is only now just coming into the final corner. He's already shaken Jeff Spencer by about a second. We'll see if he can keep into this race and hold his P3. Closest battle out on track, that's Kingy in the blue livery. He's in P8 with Wayne and Icesuit for company. Behind Kingy was part of the incident that happened with Carol Baskin earlier on in the race. Carol Baskin and Ollie have retired from the race. They are no longer part of this race, so we're down to the 12 drivers. Into all sorts was another driver who had a lot of incidents earlier on. He's in P12, but he's a good minute behind the rest of the drivers on the grid. So we'll see if we can make it back in time to try and gain at least a few more points. Absolutely crucial to the top of the championships. into all sorts, who is leading the championship at the moment. So with his teammate Sam Thumbfinger currently in P2, we could see a big change there. Points difference from finishing in 15th is in second will be 15 points, and Enter All Sorts will be picking up considerably less points, finishing down in the grid unless he can get himself the fastest lap. It was a 23.6 last time out. Ambient Stub has been quicker though on the 23.3 on this last lap, so he won't get it on that last lap, that's for sure. Three-way battle there. There's a white car joining the back of this grid, but I think that's Inter looking to unlap himself. Only 3 laps left to go, 2 laps to go at the end of this one. Inter is on a bit of a charge. Can he find his way past Wayne to unlap himself and try and get ahead? He's going to be looking to take advantage of a driver mistake though, surely, to be able to get further up the grid. This is his race leader, Ambient Stub. Again, a nice comfortable lead. He's extending that lead over Sam Thumbfinger in second. Apologies. Jeff Spencer is in third. He's got a 5-second breathing room to Nathbit in fourth. Lord of Lincoln's 3 seconds behind in the red livery. There he is. He's been chased down by the Flying Scotsman. Really good recovery drive from the Flying Scotsman to find himself in P6. Charlie Goff starting to drop a bit down the grid now. A little bit of inconsistency potentially, not having experience in these cars. Then a massive gap to this battle of Kingy, Wayne and Ice Dude, and Inter All Sorts is in there and lapping himself for good measure. That is the battle for P8. Kingy is just ahead of Inter All Sorts and Wayne, and Ice Dude is the one green and white striped livery at the back of the grid, trying to fight his way through. Jinxie there, he's in his first race out here. He's still getting used to the handling of these cars. Very tricky to get through. Really fun to drive though once you've mastered them. This is race 2 of the 4th round of the Sprint Club Race Championship. Second race is the Formula Rookies. Race 3 will be the M1 Pro Cars. Race 4 and the Lotus 25 Vintage Formula 1D, and then the Ferrari Series Ferrari Challenge 488 will find the final race of the grid. Your leader Ambient Stub is having a very good racing day so far. He won the race out in the GT5. He's currently got a comfortable gap in the Formula Rookie. Don't see, unless he has a catastrophic driving error, I can't see him giving away his position as he goes on to the final lap. Anybody interested in joining us for some racing here at Fresh Sim Racing, feel free to check out our Discord link in the description. That should get you through directly to the welcome page of our Discord. We can see a number of our championships that we run. We currently have a vintage touring car series happening on Sundays. We do special team events that run old school enduro style racing. We have on Fridays Group A, the Masters Trophy, very tricky 90s turbo beasts that are the Group A cars. And on Wednesday nights we run our Club Sprint Race Championship. Just watching Ambient Stub here closing on the back, some of the back runners. He should take that position a bit further back though. There's the Flying Scotsman and Lord of Lincoln have had a moment together. That was a battle further back. Lord of Lincoln takes P5. This is Ambient Stub though coming into the final corner. He is going to take that race win. Sam Thumbfinger should finish second, and Jeff Spencer, even though he's been hunted down by Nathbit very quickly, he's going to hold on to that podium position in P3. Good result here for Jeff. He's going to extend that a little bit of a points advantage over Nathbit in this overall standings for sure. 12 seconds behind, you've got Lord of Lincoln, and then Charlie Guff is going to take P6 in the end. The Flying Scotsman's going to take P7, providing there's no incidents as they come into the final corners. Charlie Guff dragging a wheel on the gravel though, keeps it the straight line. racing into the final corner. Kingy and Ice Dude are battling out for P8 and P9. Kingy's held P8 for most of the race, so he's should be able to keep his position there. Wayne is in P10. Into all sorts, really good comeback for him. He's going to pick up an extra point by just keeping it on track and just keeping it racing. He's going to finish P11th. Jinx has gone into the pits, maybe some retirement or for repairs, but first race out in these cars, he's not been able to have the success that Charlie Goff has had, finishing in P6. Let's have a look at the race winner. See if we can. Here we go. Maybe not. We're going back to the start. Either way, that was the race result, and let's have a look at what that does to the overall standings in the Formula Rookie. Sam Thumfinger does manage to get control of the championship. In fact, he is on 53 points, 2 points ahead of Inter All Sorts, who has 2 points ahead of Jeff Spencer. That's the 1, 2 and 3. Nathbit's in P4 on 48 points, only 1 point behind Jeff. And Ambient Stub, a really good result for him. He now sits in P5, 2 points behind, and what was a massive gap to the leaders is now only 7 points. So 7 points separates the current championship leader and P5. Kingy and Ice Dude shared spoils behind on 40 points. Lord of Lincoln on 36. Wayne and the Flying Scotsman on 32 to round up the top 10. That was race 2. Very, very interesting race. We're now going to go on to the M1 Pro Cars. The M1 Pro Cars are very tricky. They, especially out in Sonoma, the temperature of the track, they're not going to be very good for tyre wear. We saw the tyre wear impact the races in Sugo, and that was nowhere near as hot. And to make matters worse, the M1 Pro Cars are racing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Still have medium cloud though, so a little bit of respite from the heat, but not much. How does the overall standings look? The Ambient Stub, current race leader for championship leader, my apologies, for the GT5s, is also the championship leader in the M1 Pro Car. The advantage is not as clear though. He only has 2 points over Into All Sorts in second. Ice Dude and Jeff Spencer share P3. Flying Scotsman is in P4, followed by Wayne, Sam Thunberger, Nathbit, and Lord of Lincoln. So let's have a look at this grid. What have we got? Charlie Goff takes the pole position, and Ambient Stub will be happy. He's going to be on the front row for the grid. He's going to be looking to try and drive away, seal his third race win of the round. Ollie, what a fantastic livery there for Ollie, number 28. He's finds himself in P3 alongside Lord of Lincoln. Sam Thumpinger's P5. There's Carol Baskin in P6. Another fantastic livery here in the in these M1 Pro Cars. Inter All Sorts starts behind his teammate in P7. Ice Dude is in P8. Jinx in P9 alongside Kingy there in P10. Flying Scotsman takes up P11. Wayne, very colourful, in P12. Jeff Spencer as alongside what seems to be a very close rivalry happening between the two, and Nathbit round up the grid. So Wayne, Jeff and Nathbit should be a very interesting battle through the race if we can keep the driving nice and clean. Let's have a look at the race start. We'll keep an eye on the Ambient Stub. 10 laps for this round. These M1 Pro Cars considerably quicker than the previous 2 races going ahead. As you can see, Ambient Stub gets a fantastic start off the line. The rest of the grid seems to be off the line nice and cleanly. Ambient Stub leads Charlie Goff into turn 1. Ollie's P2, Sam, Lord of Lincoln P4, P5. Carabas can see one of the blue livery cars off the track there. That's Jinxie, I think. Jinxie's at the back. No major changes elsewhere. Inter All Sorts is in P7 as we're coming round to the bottom of the hill now. Ambient Stub breaking out in front, almost a second gap already. There's Sam Funfinger closing up on the back of Ollie, and there's the white and red livery of Lord of Lincoln very close behind. Carabaskin's running a little bit deep. Into All Sorts is in P6. Trying to come through the field. Just having a look on board here with Sam. Can he poke his nose ahead here? Ollie really good on the brakes. A little bit of a lock up there. Ollie will need to be careful with those lockups though. Very easy here to get your tyre wear. Tyres easily overheated and easily worn down. He's going to have to keep an eye on that further back. Here's Into All Sorts putting Lord of Lincoln under pressure as they're overtaking Carabaskin. The input there of Inter very gentle on the right hander, and that's Lord of Lincoln. He's off the track, and there's another drive off the track there because Into All Sorts has gone from 5th into 3rd. Really good start of the second lap here for Into All Sorts. I think that was his teammate Sam Thumfinger. He's dropped all the way down the grid now. He's in P12. Sam, who was racing, put under pressure, as we see Jinxie have a massive moment on the gravel and spears into the wall. That's potentially his race done. Considerable damage from that bit of contact there. Kingy's made a pass through on Carol Baskin. He's in the blue livery. There's Carol Baskin in the red car. Under pressure though from the Flying Scotsman. In P6, this three-way battle coming into the S's. The final corner. Flying Scotsman under the brakes has the inside line. Carol Baskin runs it wide, but it is the Flying Scotsman who gets the move done. Can Carol fight back up to the hill? Gets into the slipstream, but it looks like the Flying Scotsman just has enough drive off the corner to get away and keep the position. Out front, Ambient Stub is leading Ollie, not by much though. On lap 3, he's not having as much as an easy time as he had in the Formula Rookies and the GT5s, but he is currently leading this race, something he's very used to at the moment. Ollie in second, Into All Sorts is in third, hunting him down as quick as he can. He's going to want to try and put Ambient under pressure. Kingy is in P4. He's got a bit of a breather now to the Flying Scotsman after the Flying Scotsman and Carabaskin were having a bit of a battle at the end of lap 2. Lord of Lincoln a bit further behind. He was higher up on the grid. He made that mistake going into turn 1 and 2. Here's Jeff Spencer and Sam Thumfinger, closely followed by Nathbert Wayne. Again, Sam, one of the drivers higher up on the grid, got his car very sideways as he looks around the outside here of Jeff Spencer. Comes through the S's. There's Nathbert having a look on the inside, gets very sideways. Jeff slams the door. Nathbert looks on the inside, but Jeff slams the door. Tiny bit of contact between the two drivers there as they come round the corner. Nathbert is through, but doesn't seem to be pulling away from Jeff here. Jeff has the slipstream, takes a good inside. Nathbert runs the car off track. I wonder if there's a bit of a contact between the two drivers. Nathbert well off the racing line. And now there's Wayne. Fantastic livery on these Project Cars liveries here. Chasing downhill the M1 Pro Cars. Oh, we've just cut to see there's a massive moment between Ollie is upside down there. That is the car of Ollie upside down as Flying Scotsman tries to get off the racing line to allow the rest of the cars through. Absolute shame for Ollie, who was running P2. He has in fact retired from the race after that contact. He's terminal damage, and you can see the Flying Scotsman really struggling to keep the car handled there. He's going to struggle to get that car back to the pits for sure. Coming up towards the halfway point in this race, Ambient Stub. He leads this leads into lap 5 and now has a bit of more of a comfortable gap to Into All Sorts in second. Kingy's having a really good quiet race in the M1 Pro Cars. We saw him do this around Sugo and end up with a race win there. So we'll see if the front two drivers can manage their tyre wear here. It is only a short race, but these BMW M1 Pro Cars are running a very soft tyre and very easy to lock up. and overheat. You have to drive them with caution, but also you're going to need to drive them quick, especially if you want to be catching Am and Stubb out front, and that is something that Inter All Sorts is doing at the moment, mounting the curb through the S's, coming down the hill. Has he got enough pace to catch up that gap? Jeff Spencer and Nathbit having a bit of a battle further back. Wayne is in there for company as well. These two drivers, a tiny bit of contact you think earlier on in the race, but Jeff Spencer is having a really good day so far. Really good start in the GT5 before he dropped a little bit down the grid. Not entirely sure why that happened, but he did end up falling down the grid. Still got a good points position on the podium in the Formula Rookies, and now in these very powerful BMW M1 Pro cars, fighting his way back through the grid. The Lord Lincoln is having a really good race though, and he was himself and Sam Thumfinger were higher up earlier on in the race. They've both dropped down through incidents, and they've both found themselves on track again to have each other for company. It's just what's fun with the cars there is that Carol Baskin getting very sideways on exit and having a little bit of contact with the barriers. I wonder that's going to affect him later on in the race. There is Carol Baskin, closely followed by Lord of Lincoln, and even closely followed by Sam Thumfinger. The closest battle out on track. Drivers heading on to lap 7. We have 12 drivers at current, potentially going down to 11 if Jinxie hasn't not retired from the race yet. But Sam Thumfinger has a fantastic move on the inside of Lord of Lincoln there. In fact, puts himself up into P5. He's now going to hunt down Carol Baskin, who's not making contact, but in fact Sam runs very, very deep there into turn 1. Wonder where he was concentrating, but it certainly wasn't the road. That's allowed Lord of Lincoln back through. In fact, Lord of Lincoln's closing up onto the back of Carol Baskin. So we'll see if that little bit of contact with the wall is going to start affecting Carol Baskin's handling. He's definitely running wide there and definitely getting a bit squirrely. Could also be the tyre wear coming into effect now, coming on to lap 7 and lap 8. Inter is currently the fastest man on track, closely followed by Nathbit. In fact, so Nathbit is hunting down this pack quite quickly. 1:16.3 last time around. Hammy still comes across the line. He also does a 1:16.3 with 2 laps to go. Inter All Sorts not quite as quick on this last time around, 1:16.5. Kingy's come across the line with a 1:16.2. It's a really good lap from Kingy. He's closing that gap, but I don't think it's enough to get close to Inter by the end of the race. Carol Baskin and Lord of Lincoln have changed paces. In fact, Sam Thumfinger's through as well. So Carol Baskin must have had a bit of contact potentially with the barrier as he's losing grip, or even suffering a little bit of damage in his blue and red car. Sam Thumfinger all over the back of Lord of Lincoln once again. Can he make the pass? Lord of Lincoln runs deep. Sam brakes nicely, but Lord of Lincoln gets clear off the racing line, allows these drivers back through. Good racing there by Lord of Lincoln. Understood he made a mistake, got himself off the racing line and allowed the 2 drivers through. That's going to set Sam Thumfinger. He's way too far back to make a difference in this race, but he'll want to keep it on track to keep that P4. Something we haven't seen him do very successfully so far, but does have a lot of pace in this car. Carol Baskin sits in P4, and there's Lord of Lincoln after that bit of a slowdown. He's under a lot of pressure from Nathbit. Can Nathbit take advantage? A bit of a moment then Nathbit runs onto the gravel, no way through this time around. Lord of Lincoln runs deep, but Nathbit does manage to make it up on the inside. So Nathbit is up into P6. Carabaskin is further ahead. Nathbit running very deep into the corner. Can he get the car stopped in time? If he can he close up to the back of Carabaskin? No, that is the question. Oh, the car there has been very squirrely, and Nathbit is sideways and into the gravel and around. Lord of Lincoln is back through. Lord of Lincoln is back through into P6. And Carabaskin, after all of that, keeps hold of P5. Bit of a yo-yo position between these drivers. As we're keeping an eye on the race leader, Ambient Stubb. Can he make it the hat-trick of race wins here for round 4? Race winner out in the GT5s in race 1, race winner out in the Formula Rookies in race 2. Currently leading the race in race 3. Very quick pace though for the front 3 drivers. All front 3 drivers are running in the 1 minute 15s. These guys have been able to manage their pace and manage the tyres to be able to get to the end of the race and in a consistent pace. That's Inter all sorts closing the gap behind, running a little bit deep into the one corner, but he has got that little bit of pace that's putting Ambient Stubb under a little bit of pressure. He's not having it as easy as he had it in the first 2 races, but barring a catastrophic driver error, he should be able to take his 3rd race win of the evening and extend his lead at the M1 Pro Car Championship. And there we have it, coming on to the final corner for the final time. Ambient Stubb takes another win. You see the lights flash up there on the M1 Pro Car. Inter All Sorts takes P2. Kingy, really quiet race, but really good race for Kingy. He takes P3. Sam Thumfinger, providing keep it on the track for the final corner, he's going to take P4. Very eventful race for Sam, so he'll be happy to mop up the points. Carol Baskin and Lord of Lincoln chasing down the finals next spots. It should be Carol Baskin who takes P5. Lord of Lincoln will take P6. It's Charlie Goff who will take P7, and Jeff Spencer, they're being hunted down by Nathbit. Nathbit has not had a great, after that moment there, he's dropped all the way down into 9th. So Jeff Spencer takes P8, Nathbit takes P9, Ice Dude takes P10, Wayne P11, Jinxie, Flying Scotsman and Ollie all out of the race after an earlier incident. So let's have a look at the race winner. There he is in the red and white livery. The 23 is Ambient Stubb. He takes the 3rd win of the evening. And we check to see how that affected the M1 standings, M1 Pro Car standings. Ambient Stubb is a 2-point lead over Inter All Sorts after this round. It's a 2-point lead for Ambient Stubb. They both had, Inter All Sorts has a 10-point lead over Jeff Spencer. Jeff Spencer dropped down the order a little bit, but still holds P3. Ice Dude is in 4th place in the championship. Sam Thumping, a good result for him. He jumps up to 5th. Lord of Lincoln on 38. Nathbit on 35. In fact, Nathbit, his teammate Wayne, and the Flying Scotsman all have 35 points. And then Kingy rounding up the final place in champion, or in 10th place on 30 points. That's 3 races down, 2 races to go. Don't forget, if you're enjoying what you've seen so far, drop a like. Trying to get to your comments. So anybody want to, feel free to drop us a comment. We can have a chat on stream. Got 2 more races to go of the highlights from our Sprint Race Championship for round 4 at the Sonoma Raceway Short Circuit. The next race is going to be in the vintage Formula 1D, the Lotus 25. The time is going to move on again. It's going to be closing on in the evening, and I think the weather, if I remember correctly, is going to be looking a little bit clearer. Ambient Stubb is the points leader, surprisingly, for the vintage Formula 1D. He owns the current lead for most of the championship so far, so this one is potentially the widest gap for him. He has 9 points over Kingy in second. Then it's a series of teams. The Black Hammer Project team are P3 and P4, with Sam in P3 and Inter in P4. Ice Dude and the Flying Scotsman are in 5 and 6. Nathan, Wayne are in 7 and 8. And then we have Bullen and Lord of Lincoln in 9. Jeff Spencer is the surprising one down here. He's only got 17 points in the championship so far. But we'll see if he can have a really good race and try and mop up some points. Sprint Race Championship is designed to follow a normal club racing weekend. So where we have the 5 different cars going across the full day. Drivers are competing for the overall championship as well as the individual series, which is why I keep giving you the points to see you all up to date. You can see which drivers are where, how they're going to go in these races. And keep an eye out for Ambient Stub here. He's the points leader. He's going to want to try and extend that lead and try and make sure you can have a good lead going into round 5. Kingy, Sam Thumbfinger and Inter All Sorts are also ones to watch. There is only 2 points to separate those two drivers in after 3 rounds, so they're all going to be jostling for position. 9 laps here in the Lotus 25s. As we look to see what our random grid gave us out on track. Ambient Stub has had a really good look at the draw for this one. He's leading the championship so far in the F1 Lotus 25s, and he is on pole alongside the Flying Scotsman in the Black 28 livery in P2. Wayne in number 16, blue and yellow, he's in 3. Ollie, white 26, is in 4. There's Kingy in the blue number 9 in 5. Inter All Sorts, he's one to watch here alongside Kingy in the yellow 19. Karabaskin, white 13. Samsung Finger there in the yellow 11. Another one to keep an eye on, those 2 yellow cars. Charlie Goff in the 39. There's Ice Dude in 28. Lord of Lincoln number 13. Nathbit in 15. Jinxie joined it for the first time out. He's done not such a good series with us so far, but I'm sure he'll be just getting used to his cars, using this round as a feeler. And there's Jeff Spencer, who's going to need the points, but he'll hopefully take advantage of a little bit of chaos on the start at the back of the grid, watch it all happen and come through the order. Let's see what happened for race 4. Really good start by the Flying Scotsman, but only gets a little bit tail happy in the second phase of the pull away there. Inter All Sorts has managed to get up into second though, and immediately puts Ambient Stub under pressure, taking the lead. Ambient Stub pushed out wide onto the track. 4 tries driving into the right hand here. That's Inter All Sorts leads Ambient Stub, who's in front of the Flying Scotsman. Ollie behind him, and Kingy behind him in 5th. Wayne has found himself up into P6. It's a really good start for Wayne. Charlie Goff is in P7. Nathan is in P8. As we're watching Ambient Stub take the inside line and get the position back. He wasn't happy that Inter All Sorts was able to get through on turn 1 and turn 2, and he finds himself back in the lead of a race. Have a look at the Flying Scotsman under a lot of pressure from Ollie behind. These 2 drivers had a coming together in the M1 Pro car not so long ago, as you see Inter run a little bit wide, but these cars are a bit more stable on the gravel than previously. Ollie has made the move though, and he is up into P3. The Flying Scotsman is now under pressure from Kingy. The front 5 drivers, they're in a little bubble, and a bit further back there's Nathbit in 6. Charlie Goff there has had a bit of a moment with the tyre wall, and that's spun him all the way around. He's going to have a fair bit of damage on the suspension there. Ice Tube will look to take advantage, though. He is up into 8th. Wayne, who's had a bit of a moment, in fact he's coming to the pits to do some repairs, in 8th. So has Jinxie. Lord of Lincoln seems to be going very slowly as well. Karabaskin's in the pits, and so is Sam Thumbfinger. So Sam Thumbfinger, one of the drivers to watch, he's out of the race. Currently sitting with 4 drivers in the pits, and another one potentially on the wane. Out front, Ambient Stub Spreaking a little bit of a gap to into behind. Just looking to try and break that toe from the slipstream. Into all sorts in second. These two drivers becoming having a bit of a rivalry. Into all sorts again runs a little bit wide. It's going to cost him a little bit of time. Not able to keep the throttle in for sure going around when he's running off track. In fact, he's lost a couple of tenths to Damn Stuck in that series, and Ollie behind has caught up during that whole moment. Can Ollie put into all sorts under pressure? Ollie was having a fantastic run in the M1 Pro cars. Till we sort of next saw him on the stream when he was hanging upside down from his roof. And we don't need to make sure we don't roll out King as well. He's there doing what he does best, just getting the laps done consistently. There's Ollie having a look up on the inside of Inter all sorts. Not close enough on this time round. All this battling though is working in the favour of Ambient Stub, who's able to extend his lead out front. You see Kingy closing on the back of Ollie, and the Flying Scotsman's not too far away in this battle. He's in P5, black livery with the orange frontage. Still keeping up with these guys as our race leader Ambient Stub comes into the final corner to kind of look at the starting lap 4. It's Ambient Stub who leads Inter all sorts in second. Inter all sorts starting to get a bit of a gap now to Ollie, who's under pressure from Kingy in P4. Flying Scotsman's starting to fall back a little bit now. He's in P5 and his teammate Ice Dude is in P6. Jeff Spencer come from the back of the grid in 3 laps up into P7. Really good race for Jeff Spencer. He is in P7. Then you'll find Wayne in P9. Nathbet is another one of these cars in for repairs. He's in P9 and he's leaving the pits now. Charlie Goff is also in the pits for repair. Jinxie is in 11, but he's struggling to keep the car on track. He's carrying a bit of damage as well. Lord of Lincoln, Carol Baskin and Sam Thumping are all out of the race. As we're having a look at Kingy closing onto the back of Ollie. Can Kingy get past Ollie and claim that podium position? That's the yellow car of Inter all sorts in P2 out in front of them. So these two drivers, Ollie and Kingy, will be looking to take advantage of any mistake from the two drivers ahead. Now seeing a number of cars have a few moments there. In fact, that is Inter all sorts. Inter all sorts this round. We've seen him run wide a couple of times now, but he's actually gone around now. And has he got damage? Is that why he's struggling to keep that car on track? Will we see him dive into the pits? We will. For the second time with this round, Inter all sorts is in the pits for damage. That is going to allow Ambient Stub to break away unchallenged effectively. He just needs to keep the car on track and nurse it home. Ollie and Kingy now both have podium positions. Ollie sits in P2, Kingy in P3. I can see this battle lasting till the end of the race. Kingy's just giving Ollie a little bit of breathing room, potentially to cool his engines down, cool the tyres down. Running stock default setups for the sprint series. These are basically a plug and play style of racing. Short sprint races, all default setups, no time being invested to put the cars to the driver's standards. Everyone's driving the same cars with this effectively as close as damn it as the same setup. Only stable and loose setups apply. But to my knowledge, I do think these drivers are all running loose setups. The loose setup does favour the open wheel cars a little bit better. Further back down the grid, Jeff Spencer and Ice Dude have closed up on track. The rest of the grid is heavily spaced out, with Nathbit and Charlie Goff being a lap down. So drivers from 1 to 8 are currently on the lead lap. Jinxie has retired. Lord of Lincoln, Karabaskin and Sample. So we have 4 retirees in this race. Just to highlight the fact that damage is on. and if you have a moment with the car, or in fact, as we've seen in a couple of other races, of a moment with the wall, it can cost you an awful lot. Ollie does keeps ahead of Kingy, though he is currently half a second or so ahead. Just doing enough to keep the darker blue livery of Kingy behind. These cars, like the Formula Rookies, very good in the slipstream, but also they're very good over the curbs as well. So you're able to use much more of the track than previously in the other cars we've had so far in this round. The graphics on these Lotus 25s are absolutely fantastic. You can see the suspension working really hard, and the engines at the back there. It's really good to be watching these cars racing around the track. So much so we lose track of the lap count as our race leader, Ambient Stub, is on lap 7. He's got a 5-second advantage over Ollie and Kingy, who are battling it out for P2. The Flying Scotsman is the best of the rest so far. He's in P4, and Jeff Spencer has made it into P5. He's got ahead of the Flying Scotsman's teammate Icedude, who's now in 6th. Then there's a bit of a gap to Wayne in P7, and Inter, he's back out on track after picking up damage and gone in for repairs. Has he got enough time to close down the 5 seconds to Wayne? P9 is Nathbet, and then P10 is Charlie Goff, providing there's no major changes. These two drivers should stay suits for the final 2 laps. Charlie Goff is 2 laps down and Nathbet is 1 lap down. Watching Inter all sorts, closing on the back of Wayne. This gap now coming to just about a second. You should see the blue livery car of Wayne coming into shot shortly. There it is on the left hand side. Blue with a yellow stripe is the bring home points driver. He's having a really good race so far in P7. He found his way up the grid, dropped down a little bit during the race, but he's now got one of the championship contenders for company in the battle for P7. Will Wayne put up much of a defence to the guy behind? Inter has closed up this gap, 5 seconds in a matter of 2 laps or so, so definitely has more pace. He was out running with the leader before his incident. In fact, there's Ollie and Kingy looking to get a lap ahead. Inter all sorts was racing with these 2 drivers earlier on in the race, but due to a very small error, he dropped his wheel out on the gravel. It spun the car around potentially into the wall. He finds himself further back as Wayne moves well off the racing line there. Inter all sorts is through on the outside. As we're watching Kingy, he's getting ever so close now. He's so much closer to Ollie. But he hasn't got enough this time around. Our race leader, Ambient Stub, out front, is on to his final lap. He climbs the hill for the final time in these Lotus 25s. Will this be 4 wins out of 4 for Ambient Stub? Again, providing he doesn't have a catastrophic driver error, it looks like it's going to be the case. Driver errors are not something we see from Stubb, so that's why he finds himself out front. The comfortable lead. This battle behind, though, is still really close. It's Ollie in the 26 in P2 and Kingy in the blue number 9 in P4. These guys have been battling since lap 2, lap 3. Will we see a run to the line? Has Kingy got enough just to close that gap down a bit more coming into under the slipstream? A little bit of a straight before we come to the final corner. Kingy's so much better through that right hander. He's got such a better run. Can he have a look at Ollie under the brakes? Ollie takes the normal racer 9, doesn't need to defend. Does run a little bit deep though, a bit of understeer. The two cars have a bit of contact as Kingy looks to use the run. But it's Ollie. Ollie takes P2, Kingy takes P3. The Flying Scotsman should come round for his best result of the night. He's going to take P4. Really good result again here for Jeff Spencer. Starts at the back of the grid, finds himself finishing in P5 as he comes down the into the final corner. It's going to be Ice Dude takes P6. Into good recovery drive from him. Was out battling with the front runners, but he is ending in P7. Wayne P8, Nathbit P9. Charlie Goff is in the pit, so there's another retiree. Charlie Goff, Jinx, Lord of Lincoln, Carol Baskin and Sam Thumfinger all unable to finish the race. So we're going to see if we can find the race leader out on track in his orange livery 29 vintage Lotus 25. He really does like these cars, does Ambient Stub, and that's why he finds himself potentially at the top of the standings, considerably so in fact. After 4 rounds, 4 of 10 rounds scheduled, Ambient Stub has a 12-point advantage over Kingy, who's in P2. Those points at third place really worthwhile for Kingy in P2. Into All Sorts and the Flying Scotsman share the spoils of third on 45 points, with Ice Dude behind on 40, Sam Thumfinger 37, Nathbit on 36 ahead of teammate Wayne on 34. So this midfield battle really close. In fact, there is only 8 points separating P5 from P9. So with 6 rounds to go, all to play for. That was the 4th race of the night. We're going to now head on to the 5th and final race in the Ferrari series. These are the fastest cars these drivers will be driving around the circuit, and the conditions should be getting a little bit darker. It's moving on to 8 o'clock in the evening, and the weather looking clear as well. Yep, it is clear, as you can see, 8 o'clock. So let's see what these guys can come up with around this track. Standing so far, it is very close. It's very close after 3 rounds. In fact, it is Kingy who leads the way in this championship. He's got 3 points ahead of the Flying Scotsman. Into All Sorts, again one of those drivers who finds himself at the top of the championships. He's in P3 on 41. Ice Dude on 40. Ambient Stubbs got 37. Ollie has 34. Jeff Spencer 29. And then the bring home points guys of Wayne on 29 as well. And Nathbit is behind him on 26 points. The random grid order for this race: Jeff Spencer is out on pole. He's alongside Sam Thumfinger in the 48. Into All Sorts in the 4. There's Ambient Stub in P4. Wayne in the 92. Flying Scotsman is in P7. Jinx P6. Jinx is in P7. Nathbit P8. Ollie's one to watch out for. He's really quick in these Ferraris. He's in P9. Ice Dude in P10. Karabaska in P11. Kingy, another driver we're looking out for in the 19 car. He's in P12. Lord of Lincoln is in P13. And Charlie Goff in P14. So let's have a look at how this 5th and final race went down. To the driver for the grid. Really good start there by Sam, and he's chased very closely by his teammate Inter. There's Ambient Stub having a look around the outside. Sam through into the lead, and there's a bit of contact there. The driver's behind. There's a bit of a chaos in fact, and there's grid is all over the shot. In fact, Sam is joined with his teammate in P1 and P2. That's Wayne in P3, the yellow car of Wayne. He's now been overtaken by the Flying Scotsman, and Ollie finds himself in P5. A little bit of contact happening further back. You see Nathan here comes around the corner, closely followed by Charlie Goff and Ice Dude. front drivers all coming through the S's nice and clear. You can see the drivers driving with their lights on, and the sun's nicely setting in the distance. Sam Thumfinger leads his teammate into all sorts coming at the end of the first lap. There's the Flying Scotsman. He's done a really good start, finding himself in third. Ollie, that number 8 Wellcare car, noted out on the grid. He's one to watch. He's found himself up into P4. Nathbit into P5 has Charlie Goff all over the side of him for company. There's Ice Dude and Wayne. Wayne, really good start. Dropped down to 8th, but still good race. And that's Charlie Goff there into the wall. Charlie Goff's riding the wall. That's going to allow a number of drivers through. Carol Baskin's up there as well. Kingy is recovering. He's not got as high up the grid as we thought he might. He's there in P10. Just Spencer P11. Jinxie is at the back a bit further down, and it looks like Ambient Stub and Lord of Lincoln, the two 1867 club drivers, are out of the race. This looks like considerable damage to both of those two cars. Into Raw Sorts though is all over the back of his teammate. There's less than half a second between them as we come on to lap 3, this 10 lap race. The 5th and final race of the 4th round, Fresh Sim Racing Sprint Club Race Championship. Into taking a much shorter line, gets him closing up on the entry to the corner, but he just doesn't have that drive off the corner, and Sam's able to drive away on the exit. If you've enjoyed the racing you've seen tonight, don't forget to drop a like on stream, subscribe if you want to see some more of our videos. We race on Wednesday nights, Friday nights and Sunday nights currently. Wednesday night is this Sprint Club Race Championship, what you've watched today. There is also on Friday we're going to run the Group A's as we're watching Ollie having a look at the back of the Flying Scotsman. The Flying Scotsman goes very deep into the corner. Ollie has a look on the inside but no way through. On Sundays we either race Special Event Series or our Vintage Touring Cars. The Vintage Touring Car season is very, very close championship at the moment. Ollie, though, at the current race, have a look on the outside, no way through. This Sunday, we are racing at Zhuhai in Ferraris, the Ferrari 488. As you see Ollie make a fantastic move up the inside. Really good move there by Ollie. It puts him up into P3. Can the Flying Scotsman fight back up the hill? Sunday's race is in the GTE and GT3 Ferrari 488s in what is going to be an hour and a half's race that's going to simulate 24 hours. So it will be the first time Fresh Sim Racing does an endurance, a 24-hour simulated endurance race. So it's going to be really good to see the drivers out on track there. Drivers aren't racing for personal pride, they're racing as a team to try and accumulate as many laps as possible around the track. This is currently the battle for your race lead though, the race at hand. It's Sam who leads his teammate into all sorts. The two drivers are racing ever so closely and fairly as they come around the inside. It's like Sam's run a little bit deep there. Will that give into the opportunity? He looks for a move on the inside. Has he got it to be able to stick though? Small mistake from Sam, and that's cost him the lead of the race. Inter is through into the lead. That is something we want to hear more from Inter. Maybe something he might change his name from Inter all sorts to Into the Lead. We'll see, but he's actually under a lot of pressure and he's run deep there from Sam, his teammate. These are teammates racing side by side. So we don't see the a catastrophic moment if we want to see these two drivers take each other off. We do have the drivers behind who are out of the race. In fact, no, Ambient Stub is back in the race, but there's considerable damage to that car. His teammate Lord of Lincoln is out of the race though, and Jinx is out of the race as well. It's halfway point. Ollie, who had made a fantastic move on the Flying Scotsman, finds himself in P3. These two drivers do have a bit of a gap to the guys behind. It's Ice Dude Flying Scotsman's teammate in 5th. Wayne is having a really good race in these Ferraris. He's in P6. We've got a fantastic start. A lot of drivers around him got involved in incidents, but he kept himself clean and finds a P6. He does have Charlie Goff for company though. See if Charlie Goff can put Wayne under pressure. Wayne running deep of that line there around the outside of the corner. Charlie Goff able to get the car turned in. Can he get it braked down into the final corner? Can Charlie Goff good overtake? Wayne still is the 7th though. 7th will be a really good position for Wayne to finish. But can he fight back up the hill? In P8 there's Jeff Spencer and Nathbit. This is the battle we've seen between the two drivers across a number of the different formats. Nathbit potentially slightly quicker, but Jeff, that more consistency in his driving, is able to keep him ahead, and Jeff is ever so good on the defensive line. He knows where to put his car on the braking points to try and prevent the overtake and allow the driver behind, force the driver behind to go the long way around. As here we see Jeff again. Oh, there's a bit of contact with Nath there. Nathbit's gone under braking. Flash of the lights though. He knows he's at fault there. A bit of a contact. Jeff keeps the position. This is allowing Kingy to catch up. There's Kingy and Carol Basking having a nice battle further down the grid. Amit Stubb is going round to complete the laps. But he's surely going to be struggling in the back of the grid in that car. He is a lap or so down. Battle out front does mean that Inter All Sorts is ahead of Sam Thumbfinger. His teammate Ollie is kept the gap the same, so force these two guys to keep it clean, because if they have an incident, then Ollie will be the one to take advantage there. The Flying Scotsman is in P4. He was in P3. Ollie made a fantastic move on the inside to get into P4, into P3. Wayne is still all over the back of Charlie Goff. Charlie Goff able to overtake a few laps ago, but he's not able to drive away. In fact, he's running wide there. That's going to give Wayne the opportunity coming down the hill. Battle closing up here. Kingy has dropped Carol Baskin a little bit. There's a bit more of a gap there. To left-hander. Kingy only running with one light. He's clearly been involved in an incident that's caused damage to the other light, so he's running light. In fact, Nathbit is gone off the racing line there. I wonder if he's just letting Kingy through. I wonder if Nathbit was involved in an incident with Kingy, and that's potentially why he's let the driver through. Either way, Kingy is up into 9th and is free to hunt down Jeff Spencer in P8. It is lap 8 now, as we've seen the race leaders still half a second between them. These two have been racing at this high consistency for full 8 laps as we're heading towards the start of lap 9. Sam was leading this race after a fantastic start, but he made a mistake on this corner you're watching now, and that allowed Inter All Sorts to gain a run on his teammate and take the lead. Sam did try to fight back, but it is Inter who finds himself the lead Black Hammer Project driver coming into the penultimate lap. The gap behind Ollie is starting to drop behind a bit behind these guys now, but he's got a comfortable 3rd position. As long as he can bring that car home, he will take the final podium position. The Flying Scotsman, he's in that awkward moment of being fast on his teammate behind, but not as quick as the driver ahead, so he's just looking to see out his laps. Wayne and Charlie Goff are still battling through for the 6th position, and further back here is Kingy all over the back of Jeff Spencer. Again, both cars have got a little bit of damage on, both cars only running one light, and there's Kingy having a look up the inside. Jeff runs deep. Can he get a good run off the corner to keep the position? He's fighting through into turn 1. Kingi's through. Kingi is up into P8. Will that see Nathbit and Carol Baskin be brought up into this fight though? There is Nathbit. Carol Baskin is not far behind. They're going to get involved in this battle as soon as possible. Can Kingi drive away from Jeff though and make sure his pace is safe? In fact, Wayne here has dropped back a little bit from Charlie Goff now. I wonder if he's made a mistake or he's just slowing down to get the race done. 1:13.291 for Inter All Sorts has given him a second lead over his teammate now on the final lap. These two drivers are going to be finishing 1 and 2. Really good points haul for the team here in his final race. Ollie should pick up P3. Any other battles happening down the grid? Nathbit and Jeff Spencer, they're going to be coming on to the final lap now. It's about half a second between the two drivers. Has Nathbit got enough to take it over the line? There is your race leader, Inter All Sorts. Really good race for Inter All Sorts. Able to take advantage of his teammates' error and pick up the pole position. It is Inter All Sorts who takes P1. Sam Thumbfinger who takes P2 in formation. Here is Ollie coming around the corner. A really good race for Ollie. He takes P3. The Flying Scotsman, a really well earned P4. That's his second P4 of the race evening. Really good race for Charlie Goff as well. He's managed to get ahead of Ice Dude. In fact, he should pick up P5 providing no errors. So P5 for Charlie Goff. P6 for Ice Dude. P7 for Wayne. Really good race for Wayne. Kingi is closing up quickly, but I don't think Kingi's going to have enough to take that position. Here is Jeff Spencer though in P9. He has Nathbit of company P10. Nathbit late on the brakes. Really hard on those brakes, Nathbit, and you saw the glow there. Looks to do the cutback. Has he got the drive off the corner? Jeff Spencer on the inside there. Close the door. Bit of contact with the wall, but it's enough. Jeff takes P9. Nathbit takes P10. A little bit of a friendly collisions there between these two drivers as they cross the line. And it was Carabasket that takes the final place. So your race leader, race winner, was Inter All Sorts for the final race of round 4. How does that affect all the standings? Well, it is Inter All Sorts who leads the championship in the Ferrari Series Championship. He has 2 points on the Flying Scotsman with 55, and Kingi is in third with 54. Ice Dude on 51 in 4th, Ollie with 48 in 5th. Ambit Stubb, not a good race for Ambit Stubb. A lot of contact in lap 1 means he finishes down the order and down the grid in 6th overall. Wayne in 7th on 39, and then Sam and Jeff Spencer in joint 8th. So really good points for Sam, fighting his way back through the grid. Champion order there, finishing P2 overall. The overall standings, though, sees Ambient Stubb lead the way as the Fresh Sim Racing Sprint Club Race Championship. He is 10 points clear of Inter All Sorts. So it's basically a race win between the two drivers out in 1 and 2. Kingi, who missed most of round 1, finds himself in 3rd position on 217. He has Ice Dude for company on 211. Nathbit is in 5th on 200, and the Flying Scotsman 3 points behind in 6th. Jeff Spencer is in 7th on 194, Sam Thumbfinger in 8th on 193, and then we have Wayne on 197. So the midfield battle, so from 4th to 8th is really close. In fact, there's less than 20 points between those drivers, which is effectively one bad round, and that sees you out of the running for the overall. That has been your highlight footage of the Sprint Race Championship, Fresh Sim Racing, our Wednesday night's races. We saw the Ambient Stubb take victory in the GT5. He also took victory in the Formula Rookies and the M1 Pro Cars and the vintage Formula 1D Lotus 25s, but it was Inter All Sorts and Sam Thumfinger who finished out the top of the grid on the Ferrari series for this round. We will be racing on Friday night in the Group A's. If you want to take part in that, feel free to check out the link to the Discord in the description. If you've liked the coverage and want to see more of it, make sure you pop a like, subscribe if you want to subscribe, and keep an eye out for other videos we'll be having. We'll be putting online over the weekend as well. As mentioned during stream, Sunday's event, we're going to be running special team event running Ferraris at Zhuhai, and the following weekend we will have the vintage touring cars will be back at Bannock Brae road circuit. Really good track for the vintage touring cars. The next round out on Wednesday night will be at the Texas Motor Speedway infield circuit. Really tricky circuit, very short but very tricky technical circuit. So hopefully we will see you next week for the highlights there. As for me, thank you very much for joining me today, and hope you've enjoyed watching. Otherwise, hope you have a fantastic week. I hope to see you on our Discord soon. Otherwise, thank you much for joining. Have a fantastic day.